It's very important, very important. Who are you? Because somebody just think I'm smart, I'm tall, I'm educated, that's all I need. No, you need to sit down to answer the life questions. There are about 12 of them. Find time to talk about that. Do not get into marriage to collapse it tomorrow because of lack of identity. You need to know who you are. You need to discover your talents. You need to discover your emotional, your temperament, all of those things. A lot of things to discover. Number 2 things you need to deal with is your emotional baggages and unhealed traumas. The issue of emotional baggages and unhealed traumas. Definition of this talks about the unresolved emotional wounds from your childhood, your past relationship, abuses, neglect, or betrayals. Some of us have gone through a lot in the past because you opened up your heart for that. So when somebody says, somebody broke my heart, and you have a heart to be broken. And despite the fact that they broke your heart, you just came out from a relationship 2 weeks ago. Now you are back to another one, new one. In 2 weeks interval, you are a business type. You are just a merchandise, relationship merchandise. That's who you are. And you don't know what you are doing to yourself. It comes to a time that your heart no longer exists. So take note of that. The issue of resolving emotional wounds of the past. Somebody messed you up. Somebody abused you for some reason, including some abuses that came from our home while we're still young. A lot probably may have happened depending on the kind of home you came from. And that's why some of those things are still reflecting in some people's marriages still today because it was not resolved. There are people that when they see their husband, they are looking for a father figure in their husband. So the guy is both the father and husband and all of that. There are also past relationships, certain things that happened in your past. Probably you dated a guy that used to do all manners of things to you, and then that becomes a picture in your mind. You need to sort all of those things out. You need to clear them off your mind and say to yourself, my yesterday is my yesterday, my today is my today, and I move on. And that's why you need to be careful kind of people you just dabble into and say that you love them. Certain neglect that happened in the past, rejection, all of those things, betrayal, a friend took over your boyfriend, all of those things that happened in the past, your heart is still in those areas. Why does this very issue matter? Is because unhealed pains leaks into marriage. Yes, they find them their way into the marriage. Now they get into marriage as anger, as withdrawals. Sometimes you see the person withdraw back to his shell or to her shell. These are reflections of the things that happened in the past. Uncontrolled jealousy. See, this guy is always jealous. Anybody comes to greet the wife, he approaches with force, all of those things. He searches through phone, all of those things. He himself is a suspect. So all these things are things you must control. Then you find the issue of fear. This whole thing shows up in your marriage and is so powerful that if you don't deal with them before stepping into marriage, you will be having issues with your spouse because he's also coming with his own baggage. It's important you deal with it. I want to give you a baseline scripture that says, he heals the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds. Psalm 147 verse 3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So if you are heartbroken or you've been heartbroken, you will need to allow the love of God the Father to heal you. And that's a prayer you may need to want to pray and say, Lord, you know what? Help heal this component of my life. Help heal all of this. Get me out of this mess. Because the institution you want to step into is a marriage institution. And number 3 thing that I want you to deal with before you say, yes, I do, is the issue of poor communication skill. The reason why we keep going back to communication is because it's a life wire, the lifeline of every marriage and relationship. You need to learn to communicate. The inability to express your thoughts, some because of fear, some because of rejection of the past. So there are some people that don't have that boldness to communicate. The issues of emotions, you can't communicate your emotions. The concerns are not communicated clearly, or respectfully and safely. So you need to look at it again. Why does this matter? Very quickly, most marriages did not fail because the couple stopped loving each other. It failed because they stopped understanding each other. And for you to have an understanding, there must be communication. Communication that is not clear most times does not yield the right results. You need to be clear about how to communicate. Sometimes if you watch, they give you opportunity to talk, you will say a whole lot of things and end up not saying the very thing you wanted to say. So when you now sit down, you now start remembering all the things you're supposed to say. It's because you have not worked on your mind. You need to work on your mind, work on yourself to become that very person that communicates clearly. What we have for you is who? On this channel, we'd love for you to take it serious. Also sign up for the mentorship program, and that is free of charge. Sign up for that. Connect with us on the link shared, below at the comment section, and very importantly, sign up for the Ready to Marry program. This is a place where we help put your life together, prepare you for this institution, and then connect you as we move on. I'd like to thank you for your time, and I trust you learn a few stuff. We're going to continue on this same topic in the next episode.